Hey everyone, it's Make a Move Mike of Realty Executives Dylan. I'm here with Andy Cruz of Mortgage Heroes as always, and today we're going to be discussing a brief update on the housing market and how home price growth is slowing, and an update on forbearances.
So you might notice we're actually at Mike's lovely home this week. Really cool announcement for us is at the office we have construction going on because we are building a dedicated recording room for conversations just like this. That started literally this week. So today you get Andy and Mike talking to you from the home, and we're going to talk about homes today. So that's why it looks a little bit different, but take it away, Mike.
Realtor.com recently reported that we've had 47 straight weeks of price growth here in the country. That's crazy. But home price growth is slowing, and that could be a sign of the inventory, new inventory outpacing contracts that have been, or listings that are under contract, excuse me.
And it's getting a little exhausted too. 47, think about that. 47 straight weeks. Think about if your weight went up for 47 straight weeks. Or how about our collective weight? Yeah. So let's say our weight went up for 47 straight. Eventually, okay, hold on. It's got to slow down. So some of those initial jumps might have been small, and then these leaps and these big gaps of price appreciation, and then it's got to slow down. Because it just can't continue on forever. That's just mathematically going to be impossible.
Right. Well, we're seeing some signs of the home price growth slowing, and I think the reason because of that is because the inventory has creeped up a little bit,
right?
As well as home buyers have kind of hit a wall, so to speak, and they kind of had their I'm just gonna wait it out. Right. Some of them, because they don't want to pay. In some cases, because in some areas people are still paying over the asking price, and they just don't want to deal with that game.
There's buyer fatigue.
Yes.
Or I should say search fatigue. People that are approved that want to buy a house, some of them are just fatigued. They're tired. They're like, you know what? I'm going to bow out. I'll just come back to this later.
Right.
So there's some of that happening.
So in a nutshell, it's still a seller's market. It's not quite a buyer's market yet.
No.
We haven't reached that point. The amount of inventory needs to outpace the new listings.
Right.
Or excuse me, the pending sales contracts over a significant amount of time, so that way home buyer demand is shown to be low, and inventory is outpacing that, and then that'll slow it down for certain. And then it'll be a buyer's market. Now, to speak about forbearance, the Mortgage Brokers Association reported forbearance loans have decreased 18 straight weeks. The data analytics firm Black Knight reported forbearances dropped by 189,000, and total nationwide forbearances are down 254,000 since last month, but there still are 1.8 million homeowners in forbearance. What does that mean to me? It means some people still are out there. Some homeowners out there still need help. They're still struggling maintaining their housing payment. What that doesn't mean to me is that there's going to be a huge shift in the market and we're going to see something similar we saw back in 08, 9, and 10, where the market crashes and prices just plummet. The mortgage industry and mortgage lenders, they do not want that to happen again. That is a lesson we've all learned as a nation, and it would just have too drastic of an effect on the nation as a whole and our economy in order to allow that to happen. So I think they put these things into place: forbearance, loan modifications, and all these other tools to work with homeowners to retain their home and not lose it and have this drastic impact on it.
That's where the pressure's coming from. So they already kind of know and understand what outcome they're trying to avoid, and the pressure has been put on the mortgage servicers. So the mortgage servicers are the people that you're making your payment to every single month. So you get the bill in the mail or in your email or online, your reminder to pay. And the mortgage servicers are actually under a tremendous amount of pressure to do loan modifications, loan workout programs, and in a variety of ways. I have not met anybody yet who has had loan forgiveness, meaning that the amount that was forbeared, that was not paid, was forgiven, but it's tacked on, added to the end. Some people are re-amortizing their loans. They're getting a loan rate reduction. They'll have to have a new mortgage note for that. So there's a variety of methods that are being used by the servicers to do this, but there's a tremendous amount of pressure being put on them by the government. And I went back and looked at some of my old social media posts last year when the forbearance program rolled out. And I stated at that time, the only way that this is going to work out is if there's some sort of solution for buyers separate from them just fire selling their house. Because then that would cause house prices to decline and millions of them all at once, and the economic balance of supply and demand. Well, anyways, the services right now are under a tremendous amount of pressure by the FHFA because they are being tasked to fix it. They're being tasked to fix the problem that resulted from the law, the CARES Act law, to allow people to go into forbearance with little to no documentation. So I have my own personal feeling about that being forced upon them. But what is happening is they are having to take action. They're having to take action because if these forbearances are left without a loan modification or some sort of workout program, they'll be into pre-foreclosure and they will become foreclosures. So there still will be a handful of these homes that will end up in the foreclosure market simply because the servicer cannot work it out with the home buyer. Or the home buyer, even under the terms of a loan modification or a workout plan or a new payment amount or whatever, they still will be unable to make the payment. So here's option number one for Mike and for me. If you are in forbearance, and even if you get a loan modification, you will not be able to make that payment, you need to sell your house. You need to call Mike and you need to list your house, because it is going to be better for you financially and credit-wise to go through with a house sale and walk away with some money, because again, house prices have been elevating for the whole year. So you have equity in your house. I know you do. The number of houses underwater and upside down, meaning you owe more than they're worth, is almost zero right now. It is insane. So you have equity in your house. If you know that you're not going to be able to pay for that mortgage, even if you have a loan workout or a loan modification, list your house right now. Get it on the market while the market is still good, while there's still more buyers than there are sellers, while you can get top dollar. You get people still overbidding in some cases. Give yourself the best chance to get out of that situation with money in hand and without the burden of a mortgage payment over your head. If you cannot do that, then you have to just work as hard as you can to talk to your loan servicer, explain the situation, provide documentation, give them evidence of hardship, and do everything you can for them to help put you in a better situation so you can keep the roof over your head.
Best case scenario, you get to keep your home. Worst case scenario, you have to sell your home. But in that scenario, you do, like Andy mentioned, you walk away with equity. Now, if you can't reach, if you're trying to do a loan modification and you're just overwhelmed and don't know where to start talking with your mortgage servicer, you can reach out to us. We've helped others do it in the past. We have had plenty of letters that we've helped homeowners write, and even in some situations, we help with. Well, in this situation, because like Andy mentioned, we're no longer underwater, so you don't have to worry about short sale. But back in the past, if you did have to do a short sale, you would give you would sign a third-party authorization agreement, which will allow me, as your agent, discuss with your mortgage lender and the way moving forward. That way, it takes some of that burden off of you and puts it onto me, and I'll do all the negotiating and handling all the paperwork and explaining it to you on your behalf, and we'll get you moving forward in the right direction, one step at a time. So we're here to help, and we want to just make sure that you're aware of all your options that are afforded to you. Next thing is we want to discuss is that rates have gone down a little. They kind of been doing this kind of slight up and down, not going up too high, not going down too low, or
just fluctuations.
Just subtle fluctuations. And prices as prices have slowed as inventory has increased. So that does mean less competition for you buyers out there. If you are interested in buying, I'd be happy to do a buyer consultation with you, even whether that be through Zoom, over the phone, or face to face and in person. And sellers, you can still get a great price for your home. I believe we're at the peak of the market right now, unless something changes that keeps us going in this direction. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball to predict what's going to happen, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Sellers have, they still can get a great price for their homes, and buyers have a little bit less competition right now. I want to thank everyone for being with us today. Really appreciate you watching our videos. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, either direct message, text, call. We can set up consultations via Zoom or face-to-face, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And we'd be happy to help you out. And there's absolutely no obligation, until we can make sure that buying or selling and getting a mortgage loan is the right thing for you.
Yeah.
So please keep that in mind. But thank you again, and have a great weekend, everyone.